everyone, Phil at QB Dent Free. Today we're looking at the dent on this pearl red Mazda door. These are a 4-layer pearl, every painter's worst nightmare. This is a late model CX-8 and what we have is laminated glass in the front doors here. If we put any pressure on the edge of those glass panels, very easy for those windows to break. So we're going to start with glue, as we so often do, and try and get the bulk of this done by glue pulling. We have the original Kiko Ice little crease tabs here, and then we've got the dead center versions as well. Again, being your small everyday sort of a dent, we're going to use the mini lifter as our pulling apparatus. We've got a nice solid base for our feet there. And I'll just repeat that same process. Load the tab up with a bit of glue. Make sure it's evenly coated the whole way along so that when we put it on the panel, we get nice squeeze out the whole way around the tab, especially in the corners there. That's where it's easy to miss. With the robo lifter here, there are a couple of different ways you can position these feet. You'll see I've got these in the slightly closer position here, as opposed to wide position. This wide position will fit a bigger variety of tabs, but for most of these everyday quite small pulls, I'm going to be using it in the sort of tighter position here. And little squeezes, I'm not going to yank it, just a couple of little squeezes there. Pull just a little bit nicer, a little bit less left behind there each time. Carefully knocking down. On this next pull I'm going to downsize the tab to 7 or a 9mm. I think that's a 7mm round hail style tab, and just they pull a very, very sharp centre. I've given it a couple of pulls. This little spot right in the centre hasn't moved. I'm going to make sure this time around that spot moves. I'll clean up from there. See there how much that flexes, even for such a tiny little tab. That pulls just so well. Generous little amount of glue so that we get that beautiful squeeze out all the way around. Whether we've got the mini lifter on this particular dent, vertical or horizontal, either one, the feet make really nice smooth contact across the whole of the whole of the skin there. We're in a strong area with that reinforcement behind the panel. Nice little squeezes. I think that's moved more than it needs to. So a little bit of spray to help release it. And then we'll just correct that little high spot and see what we're left with. So having been pulling with the 9mm tab there, I'm going to downsize to this 7mm. Not a huge difference in it, but it should be enough that we can pull that smaller, finer centre. These small tabs really let you get precise and pinpoint those last few details in the dent. You see they really hang on there as well. I think after this pull I'm going to have to cross-check, which means packing the camera up and moving it around. Now again, not the end of the world whichever way I choose to put the feet on the mini lifter here. Go whichever way looks best for the camera, right? Beautiful, that's perfect. Really, really close there. Yeah, thanks for that noise. Before I cross-check, this is what we're dealing with. Couple little pits left in it. Now, over on the other side, if we look from this other direction, from the front of the car, suddenly we can see some ridges around the edge of the dent there. This is why it's important to cross-check. Those high spots on the sides, they'll be locking the dent in place. Having knocked down those hard ridges, what we're left with is a very smooth, shallow transition into that dent. That'll mean that subsequent glue pulls should move that metal a bit more cleanly. It only takes a second to do this a lot of the time. I spent maybe 15-20 seconds turning it from that sharp shouldered little dent into a nice soft round dent. Well worth putting that time in. Even if you think you're making the dent bigger, or if you think you're adding damage, you're preparing that metal for the movement you want it to do. Hopefully this is the last pull, but again, like fishing, one more pull, one more cast, one more pull. So far, it looks pretty good. And that's it for today. Completed repairs on this Mazda door. This particular Mazda paint, every spray painter hates this paint. You essentially have to redo the whole side to get this colour right. There are 4 layers that build up, which is part of what makes it such a pretty colour, but nightmare to repaint. Today though, we're able to get a perfect result using nothing but glue pulling. Thank you guys once again for hanging around till the end. More videos in the works. Excited to keep doing this, hopefully get a little bit better each time I do this, and we'll see you guys on the next one.